Welcome, Half-Bloods. It is Scott and William, and we are back for another podcast. Today, we are going through several essays from HarryPotter.com that cover daily life in the wizarding world and magic and spells. This goes from Patronuses to naming seers, which was a weird one, which I enjoyed, to potions, to Animagi, extension charms, the Floo network, and a whole lot of stuff in between. So if you want to follow along, you can do that on HarryPotter.com. We're going to be referencing each essay, and you can read along and share your thoughts with us as well on social media. So this is going to be a fun one.
Can't wait.
But William, before we do that, I need to talk to you about last podcast. We discussed the copy of Tales of Beetle the Bard that Hermione received from Dumbledore. And there was some discussion as to whether it was in ancient runes. And I believe definitively it is 100% written in ancient runes. And I would like to see if you have a rebuttal to that.
I just heard a beep. 100% definitively written in ancient runes.
Yes, that is my stance.
I mean, the only person who ever reads it is her. I always read it that...
False. Right here. First of all, the title is in ancient runes. I just cut you off. That was rude of me.
I was like, ancient runes. Yeah, but like it has like runes on the cover. Unless she gave it to Xenophilius. No, Hermione reads it.
No, she gives it to Harry, right? She says, right. Hey, could you help me with this symbol? And then she leaned forward and held out the Tales of Beetle the Bard. Look at that symbol, she said, pointing at the top of the page. Above, what Harry assumed was the title of the story, as he was unable to read runes. He could not be sure. There was a picture of what looked like a triangular eye, its pupil crossed with a vertical line. The whole book is in ancient runes.
Or at least the title.
Nope, the whole book. That's ridiculous, William. Otherwise, you would have said it's the whole book.
I'm just saying, our whole thing is like it's not explicitly stated.
I am only looking at one section of the book, or one section of this, but it talks about her translating the book, not reading the book.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
She was still deciphering something. She's not reading.
It makes no sense why the book would be in ancient runes, but it is.
I agree. Just wanted to align with our listeners that it's an ancient runes.
It is indeed.
And I feel like I'm saying ruins. I'm really trying to say runes, but I just suck at talking. So please, I don't need that call out. Awesome. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, I
think you're saying it great.
No one else does. William, I'm excited. I don't have like a gimmick for this one, but basically I've got all these categorized. I've got a couple points for each of these. And then as always, I'll have kind of a hypothetical question for you that has just things I haven't thought about before. And there's a lot of great stuff in here. I feel like there's a lot of themes. I think there's a lot of themes.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And specifically as we keep going on the witches and wizards, which we'll do next week, I feel like there's a lot of themes there on like half-blood families. And anyways, a lot of themes throughout all this. I did all the studying at once, so it's all kind of commingled. So I'm excited. You ready to jump in?
Ready.
Also, for those of you who don't know, this game is sponsored by the much-needed book-only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia game. And there it is on William's bookshelf. He's got at least 2 copies. I have many copies myself because they are for sale, and I would love to sell you one. And throughout this, I'm not going to read all these, William, because we need to go to sleep, but I basically just pulled a small sample of questions that apply directly to the categories that we're about to read. And if I feel it's getting stale, I'm just going to pull one of these out, okay? We'll go from there.
Let's do it. Anytime.
Perfect. The first one is a pretty exciting one. I won't ask you a level 7 question. Name 15 Patronuses and those who cast them. But what we will talk about is Patronuses. This is basically one of the few ones that didn't come out on August 10th, 2015. Basically on August 10th, 2015, I think this was the first time she just did a big dump on what was then Pottermore.com. And basically gave us a whole bunch of essays. Really, the first thing she wrote since like Tales of Beetle the Bard, I think. This is the only one on this list that doesn't come from that day. This came about a year later. Not sure why. I don't remember what. I guess this kind of came out with like all the Quidditch Cup stuff, right? Like, which she did a year later. Anyways, not sure why.
The Quidditch Cup was
Patronuses.
2014 during the Real World Cup.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what it is. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Patronuses, I'm not going to talk about a Patronus. We're not going to like do a deep dive on a Patronus. That's not the point here. It's just here's a couple things that we learned from this essay. It talks so much about how most wizards cannot do this, and like it's talked about a lot in the 7 books. Like Harry's so amazing, he can do this. I thought it was just a little overblown, like in the books. I was like, it's just because it's Harry. Like if it wasn't Harry, like people wouldn't care that much. But this, like, helped me realize that I'm just being annoying and that it's like, it just says it point blank, like, most wizards cannot do this. Like, it is not a thing that adult wizards can do. And then I started to think, like, again, is that true? Like, so many, all of Harry's classmates in the DA can do it. But I was like, no.
Yeah.
Well, they're elite is what I just landed on. Like Luna, Ernie, Seamus, casting those in the Battle of Hogwarts.
That's true. I mean, if we think about it like this, like the Dumbledore's army is like the better kids, because I don't think a Patronus too is necessarily like the smartest kids. It's not all the Hermiones, right? Like it's
fair.
A deeper magic than like the science of potions and things like that. You know,
that's fair. Which this was her hardest spell to do. True. There's something in your inner core happiness. Who knows?
The only thing that sucks about it is that Umbridge can do one, and that kind of like takes a giant dump on the whole thing.
It does. They talk about that in the essay and say, you know, her conviction, her belief in her conviction of what she believes to be right is what allows her to do that. But it is sad.
Yeah, I think too, like, I always thought of it like, and because in the essay, like, it does talk about that. And I always like extrapolate that even further to be like, she is so like emboldened by like the wickedness of the times that it like eggs her on, because what makes her happy is evil. And like, that's where she draws the power for a Patronus, you know, because a Patronus is still a morally neutral thing. Like evil people, Voldemort, whoever, you know, theoretically can make a Patronus. It's not you know, it's a tool. It's morally neutral, even if it's the antithesis. It's like the one defense against like the most evil creatures in the world, but it's still just a thing. It's not it's not like the light side, dark side kind of thing, you know. No, Star Wars is that, you know.
They do talk about that. They do talk about how some dark wizards they get used to being around the Dementors and feel no need to make a Patronus because it's like, oh, I like feeling miserable. The other thing I pulled from this was you can choose to make a Patronus and not form your corporeal. Is that how you say it? Patronus.
Corporeal.
Corporeal. Thank you. I knew that was the wrong word. You can choose not to do it, which in parentheses, it's like, which Lupin was in favor of because he felt it revealed too much about him to have, you know, the wolf as his Patronus. So like I thought back to the train and I always was confused by this of how like they didn't notice that like a true animal came out. I'm sure they were scared and it was tight quarters, but like they say in the book, like a silvery thing shot out of Lupin's wand. I always assume it was a fully grown wolf, but that they just weren't paying attention. But now I take that to believe it was just like a say the word for me, corporeal. Why can't I talk? Patron.
Which, to your point about that, is that like when he's saying like, I don't pretend to be an expert on Patronuses, Harry. In fact, quite the opposite. Lies, Lupin, lies. Like if you have this much control over your Patronus, because this was something that's really cool that they expand on in these essays, you know, like that. So like he definitely like,
that's interesting.
Like I don't know if there's such thing as like a Patronus expert, but if there is one, it's him. You know, I mean, like for whatever reason, he knows he has. First of all, like, you know, imagine that 10, like, I don't know what's like the Muggle equivalent, right? That like only 20% of the adults could do it anyway, or whatever the number is, right? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Something under 50.
so he's definitely an expert.
Well,
He's just being modest.
well, you just made me also think of something like surely he would have just shown Harry a Patronus. He's like, hey, here's what it looks like. Expect a Patronum and made one,
Right.
which he obviously can do, but he didn't want to intentionally, which I never thought of till right now. Why didn't he just show it to him? Because he didn't want to show him he's a wolf. That's crazy.
Right. And yeah, because like I guess like you can make it not he could make it like be a barrier. Because in the train, he doesn't need
Weak.
like it's not
Yeah.
like in the middle of a massive
Charging
battle where he
down.
needs to like he just basically needs to like force field it away. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, get out of here. Which it does.
Right. Agreed. All right. That's Patronuses. Now, the rest of these all came out on August 10th, 2015. And the next one that's up is I combined these two Alchemy / the Philosopher's Stone. And maybe you have some tidbits here, but the biggest one, I feel like you've really changed my frame of reference of like what's real and what's possible. And we've talked a lot about this of like what could like death is one of my favorite things you just kind of revealed of like, no, why couldn't death be a real being in the wizarding world? But like the our first introduction to the wizarding world is all about the Sorcerer's Stone, which is a stone that basically creates temporary, but really creates immortality and changes all metals into gold. Like it's absolutely incredible. Why does Hermione have such a hard time believing that like the Deathly Hallows exist when like she literally was trying to get a Sorcerer's Stone? Like it's magic. Like why does she have such a hard time believing that? I don't know. You've kind of
Yeah.
opened my eyes
Also,
to
the
that a
other
little
weird
bit.
thing about the Sorcerer's Stone is that like they describe it in the first book as like the only known possessor,
Right.
like kind of implying that like it's not like a wholly unique
There's others.
object, or at least hasn't
Right.
always been. Right.
Right.
Maybe a bunch are lost to time and like ancient Egyptians or like, ancient Arabic wizards had one or something, or something. But I don't know.
I agree.
Not the only one, or
Um
at least it wasn't. So who did Flamel kill to get it?
I assume he created it.
I know, I assume
But
too.
with his study of alchemy, which again anyone could study. But
Which is a whole other thing about how like Hermione, like J.K. Rowling talked about like Hermione wasn't interested in alchemy. Like she could have studied it, but
yeah,
like wasn't interested in it.
chose not to. Yeah, shunned it.
Probably because, and then she basically just explains it away, like because like Harry and Ron, she hopes the Sorcerer's Stone goes away forever. We don't need it,
Yeah,
which is
I
true.
don't know.
Because I mean,
Remind
in real life, what's his face? Flamel would have been just a bad guy.
like an evil villain.
Yeah, for
Or
sure.
like
Like think about like who could possess like such a powerful magical object and not have it corrupt them.
yeah, but I
And
mean we've
live
talked
for
about this.
500 years or however long he lived,
Yeah,
right?
we talked about this with Kilgrave, right? Like yeah, like but I feel like this isn't the same thing. Where like became immortal, but he could still like die. He just can't die of like old age, right? So like I feel like that doesn't I don't know. Like what is he going to do with this unlimited life that would just make him inherently evil? I disagree with that one. I feel like he just
Mm,
lived a long happy life with his aging wife.
I don't know. What about all the gold?
Money, yes. But I don't know, he gave a bunch of it to Bobatons and
That's
you
true. He
know,
clearly
built
wasn't
some
evil, but I'd like to imagine he
I don't
was.
know.
Because
Well,
this is
I'm
what I
excited
would
to
be
see a
if I
version
had
of
a
him.
Sorcerer's Stone. So
I'm excited to see a version of him that isn't made of mostly dust in the new HBO show. So I
yeah.
look forward to that. Yeah, I did not enjoy any second that he was on screen. Um, okay, the next two are colors and clothing, which I thought was interesting. Where basically, purple and green are like wizard colors,
Can
and
I tell you
they're
what I thought about
oh
this?
wait, please.
Mardi Gras. So my first thought was Mardi Gras.
As
Um,
a
Those are the
Louisiana?
colors
Yes,
of
you
Mardi
would.
Gras and yellow, right? Which is the story of like why LSU is purple and yellow is because they didn't have green when they were making uniforms way back when. So they just stuck with purple and yellow because there's 2/3 of the Mardi Gras color. Um, but yeah, I just thought of that. Like I connected it to my own life, like Louisiana and like because Louisiana is somewhere very steeped in magical type history and things like that,
True.
and even referenced by J.K. Rowling and wand lore and other stuff they talk about. But yeah, I don't know. I thought about that. That's my first thought. I like the idea of like
Uh,
wearing purple and green to like reveal yourself to fellow wizards and witches. But I was like, ultimately, the community is so small. You should all know each other anyway.
well, I have two trivia questions here from the much needed book
Ooh,
only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia.
let's do
And
it.
it made me think about it from this lens, which I hadn't thought of before. I'm only gonna have you answer one, but the two questions are the same, where it's basically name the 7 colors of cloaks, robes, or gowns that Gilderoy Lockhart wears. And he's always wearing non-magical colors, right? That don't I mean, he wears jade green, and like, but that's it. Then he's wearing pink and lilac and aquamarine, and he's not wearing like magical colors, which I didn't really notice as non-magical until I read this. But then I'll have you answer this one. This is a tough one. This is level 6. Uh, name 6 colors of cloaks, robes, or nightgowns that Dumbledore wears. This is hard. Just
That
give
is
up
hard.
anytime.
He definitely wears purple.
Exactly. That's his opening. He's just wearing purple, which again I never really put
I
together.
know you never really put it together, but then later on when you find out he's gay, you're like, and he wears like high heeled buckled boots. Like the man's got style. Um, let's see.
That's a good point.
Uh, I think he wears like different kinds of purple. Like he's got like purple,
Yes.
like he's got like a nightgown that's purple. Like when he's wandering.
Yes, he's got a magnificently
Um,
embroidered purple and gold dressing gown over a snowy white nightshirt. He wears that
yeah.
twice.
Oh wow.
And then there is one more purple.
Um, I feel like he wears once like a purple outfit with like stars on it.
A deep
Um,
purple robe with scattered silvery stars and a matching hat. Correct.
that's right. Blue. Like he wears
He
blue.
wears midnight blue.
I don't remember the midnight part. This is a really hard one. It's not a level 7 because
Oh,
the volume's not there, but this is insanely hard.
correct.
Like I'm out. I don't know how many more I have, but I can't think of any like very quickly.
You've
So
done
this
you've
is a
done
really
amazing.
hard.
Well, then it also yeah, then it also goes on in there and says sometimes wizards just adopt to wear black. And that's the other thing. He wears a black traveling cloak, and then he wears
Yeah.
deep green
I
robes
could have said
embroidered with many
black. I
stars and
just kind of
moons.
like I said blue. Could I was like, well, blue. I was like, let's start
So
naming colors.
Dumbledore Dumbledore once wears midnight blue, and then every other time he's wearing purple, green, or black, which again, I just never really put together, but I thought that was cool.
But this doesn't include his plum velvet suit that he wears.
No, it doesn't. Cloaks, robes, or nightgowns.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's why
No
you
suits.
specify cloaks, robes, and nightgowns.
You got to listen to the question. So from there, it goes kind of right into clothing, which again, that was colors. This is clothing. There's a couple interesting things here. One is that they talk more than once about the 1 day amnesty of the Muggle rule. So it is law. You have to wear Muggle clothes when you're around Muggles.
Right.
That is wizard law. Otherwise, you are fined. And then there was a 1 day amnesty
To
on the day
celebrate
that Harry
Voldemort
Potter.
die or
Yeah,
disappearing. I thought about this, so I was reading this and I was like, this is the kind of thing where like it's really hard to enforce because like one, if you just like walk down London dressed like a weirdo, you won't stand out. It's a giant city, right? Um,
true.
it just depends like how weird and where and in what volume of people, you know. So I
Right.
imagine this is kind of like speeding in that like everyone does it maybe you get caught, maybe you don't. It's a slap on. It's a little thing. It's not a unless you're
Well,
like driving like a Georgia football player and you drive 100. Apologies to Hunter out there, but unless you like driving like 120 in a school zone, then you're like, all right, well, you're gonna go to jail, right? That kind of thing. Like
that's a good point.
everyone's dressed up in questionable clothing, and they weren't arresting people at the Quidditch World Cup like Archie and his you know
No, they weren't.
his dress. So
Well, speaking of that, I
fart.
did find it very hilarious. The group fart fresh air refreshes totally, which was pushing back against these Muggle laws. But then my real thought was like, how is this is just a golden opportunity either for an entrepreneur to just open a shop in Diagon Alley. It's like here's the latest Muggle clothes, and you won't get fined. Like it's cheaper to buy from me than to just get fined, and or like if the Ministry of Magic cares this much about this, then like why don't you fund that shop and make sure that everyone has the right clothes to go out there. So I don't know. There's like there's
It's
some
like
small
school
opportunities
uniforms.
here. I feel like
It's like the reverse of school uniforms.
yeah,
I also thought it was interesting how like kids like dress fine, like they'll wear like jeans and a sweatshirt and whatever, but then like when they become adults, they become idiots. Like Mr. Weasley, you can't count money, or he's wearing like crazy clothes, like you know to show up at the World Cup, and like he's supposedly like a Muggle expert, and you're like, man, I gotta do is like walk outside, go walk in your town square, be like, does anyone dress like this? And no, but that wouldn't be funny if they could just dress like normal people, wear jeans and a t-shirt, and be normal.
yeah. Like she tried to write about about that in this. We're like, oh yeah, often older witches and wizards don't interact with Muggles anymore, so they forget how to dress and they're kind of locked into what was popular when they were that age. But I was like, never was it popular for Mr. Weasley to wear a golf shirt with I don't know what he was wearing, but never was that in style. So
Right.
that's a weak excuse for how dumb Arthur Weasley is.
Yeah,
All right.
it was.
Next one, naming seers, which took me a sec to understand what I was actually reading about. But basically, this is like
It
you take
wasn't
your
about
newborn
naming
baby to
Sears.
yes, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, how did Sybil Trelawney get her name? No, it's you take your baby to a seer, and basically the seer tries to predict that child's future and give them the appropriate name that will manifest their destiny. Basically,
Wizard junk
I found
science.
this. Yes, I found this weird, and like this is like true, just like yeah, like Gypsy, like reading. I don't know. I didn't like it. But is this like J.K. Rowling's excuse for like why Remus Lupin is named Remus Lupin? Like, is the excuse that they took him to a seer and like she's like, oh, he's going to be bitten by a werewolf, and now he must be named Remus? Like,
I bet. Well, the parents like I don't know if the seer like told them that, or like if they did and they took him to a seer and they're like Remus, they look at each other like is he
what
gonna
about
have a brother named
Romulus?
Romulus or is he a wolf?
Exactly. Would you ever consider doing this, William?
Not in a million years. I would never consult
Never.
a seer.
Never.
Not in a million
Never.
years. I named all my kids nice, normal, boring things. Um,
Is this the equivalent though of a patriarchal blessing?
Nobody. Well, our audience will know that because there's only like 10
Yes,
people,
there will
and
be
they're
people
all
who get that.
almost all from our church. Um,
They can look it up.
yeah. Kind of, I guess, but not really, because it sounds like it's really just about the naming, and it mostly sounds like junk science. Like, like most people, like the Weasleys or the Potters, just like name their kids like normal people. They're like,
Their favorite names.
or like the Blacks have like a sense of grandeur, and so like they're naming their kids after
Right.
constellations, right? It's like a family tradition, right?
Right. Right.
Which is really cool, by the way. The Black naming tradition is actually really cool, even if they're all terrible people except
Agreed.
Sirius. But
Regulus. I ride for Regulus. Okay.
that's true. I mean, he was probably not a great dude, but he came up when it mattered,
Exactly.
and he was a
All
seeker.
right. Next we have yes, he was. Next we have potions, cauldrons, polyjuice potion. Kind of group those three together. Potions. The thing that I learned is sadly that Muggles can't make potions, which kind of made me sad. There are always wand work involved. So
Which
I
they
thought that was
never really
disappointing.
show, by the way. Like not much.
Right.
I
Sixth
always
book, they get into it a little.
yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit, but not much. And like I always thought of it like it's still like the innate magic of like just a magical hand even like stirring
Yeah.
something compared to like a muggle hand. You know what I mean?
You need magical
Like
blood. Yeah.
you're like aura, your your field of energy,
Right.
affects what's around you. I thought the coolest thing about the the drawing she had of Snape, um, in
That is a
the
shout out. The drawings on this are so cool.
yeah, she's a
In
good
the
artist.
on
Like just for like
harrypotter.com.
sketching, like she was just like sketching stuff, and there's like a drawing of Snape, this
Oh,
greasy,
those sketches. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, those sketches. Yeah, yeah.
No, but the artwork is also great too. Um,
The thumbnails.
but potions, it was really funny. Like the whole explanation of like why she hated chemistry,
Yes.
which I do too. But shout out to my brother-in-law who just got his PhD in geochemistry, and we turned on his live PhD defense on YouTube to watch it.
Oh, wow.
It might as well have been in Farsi. Like it was,
Ancient runes.
yeah, might as well have been gobbledygook. But good job, Jordan. You're the smartest guy I know. Yeah, but like so she chose Snape. Like, hey, what's like Snape's Harry's enemy, arch enemy of teachers is what would he teach? The wizard equivalent of chemistry, right? But like it also like talk about like it gave she's giving it like deferential treatment. Like the people who are good at potions are really smart. It's like they have a
Yes.
mystique and an aura. It's like earned because like potions is idiots don't do potions. Neville, not a
Yes.
potioneer.
Well, yeah, she goes straight into like, yeah, I hate chemistry and I was supposed to hate potions, but then I was immediately wrapped up in Snape's opening speech of I can teach you to bottle fame and stop death.
Oh,
And
that's
blah
such
blah
a
blah.
good.
So
That's such a good thing. Bottle for
it's a little
him,
dramatic,
brew
Snape.
glory.
It's a little
Well, he is
it's a little
dramatic.
dramatic.
So
The other thing I picked up is that
but he talked
a
about he
basil.
brags on potions so much, and he spends every year trying to teach a different subject.
True. All he's trying to do is get out of here. The other thing I picked up is that a Bazar, how do you say it? Bizarre?
A
Bizarre.
bezoar
Help me.
or a bezor. They
A
say it.
Bizarre.
They say it
Bizarre.
like
Ooh, Bizarre sounds
bezoar
better.
in the first audiobook, and then they change it to bezor. But I don't know.
Feels like Bizarre. But that was a real thing. People would actually
I
drink
know.
liquid
With that
of a
in it.
Bizarre. Uh, all I could think is I'm really glad we're alive in 2026 and how dumb were people just like a couple hundred years ago. But are they going to say the same thing in like 20 in 2226? Like how dumb were the people in 2026? Like I can't believe they used to do stitches or like they couldn't cure cancer and people just died every day from cancer. Like, is that what's going to happen in 200 years?
I don't know. I don't know. If you look at the curve of like development in human history, most of it has the graph goes way up in the last 200 years since the Industrial Revolution. But maybe AI is going to be the equivalent of that, and we will have another giant jump. But basically, humanity hadn't changed that much relative to, the curve was really slow, and then all of a
Right.
sudden the Industrial Revolution came and it skyrocketed.
Right.
So I'm going to
In
be
200
prideful and say no. People in 200 years might call us idiots, but I don't know. They'll be wrong.
in 200 years Jesus will be here, so
Yeah, there
we
you go.
will be idiots. Yeah. We're just going all church today. Next is Cauldrons. I never thought about this, but like it said basically all cauldrons are enchanted to, not
Mhm.
weigh what truly an iron or pewter cauldron would weigh.
Right.
Never
Imagine
thought of
like a
that
little
once in my
10-year,
life.
11-year-old kid carrying a pewter cauldron. Right. And then I also thought about this is I'm uh also, did you know pewter is like tin? It's not like iron. Pewter is not like a big heavy like uh it's an alloy, but it's not like iron. It's not cast iron. is what
I see.
I'm
I'm in the
thinking.
middle. I'm in the middle of the Mistborn series, and I should know more about all these metals as they are integral to the story. But they're all just metals to me, and they don't really mean much.
No, they
So
don't.
I should
But I
I should
also
do my
think
research.
one thing I'm excited about when they do the show is I want to see a collapsible cauldron because like that was like probably what they were mostly using is collapsible. I just want to see it like
Should
magically
be
like collapse itself into a flat thing they can stick in their book bag,
agreed.
which would be really
Or an
cool.
all gold one. Uh, I don't have a second thought about this, but like I also thought it was interesting that you have to have a naked flame to make a potion, and I just would like to know a little more about that.
No induction burners.
Yeah, like, you can't put it on a stove. Yeah, it's like no electric stove. I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
The magic
Um,
of nature, right? Like the
naked
nature
flame, baby.
of magic. Yeah.
The next is Polyjuice Potion. Um,
Mhm.
I thought this was she talks about why she chose all the ingredients. I thought that was really interesting. That stuff almost always goes over my head when I'm reading the text, but I always enjoy reading like this is why I chose this word. This is why I chose this name. And even the obvious ones go over my head. I read all these books as a kid, like I didn't know Remus and Romulus, Lupin meant anything. And learning all this as an adult has been very fun for me. But all the ingredients, very intentional of like, I don't know, it was fun to read her thoughts on that.
Right. I think it was cool, like, because it's such a thing where, like, it's like the most obvious. Like, of course, there's a potion to like copy someone, like you know, like it it's just like if you were magic like this, it just made sense. Like, this is definitely something you would do or develop, um, for
Right.
that.
So
Um,
it also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're good.
It also tells us that Polyjuice Potion can last 10 minutes or 12 hours, depending on, quote, how well it is brewed. When the only time we see lots of time limits actually with Polyjuice Potion, and Hermione declares in the second book, we will have exactly 1 hour, which I assumed was based on the volume, not the quality. So,
Mhm.
like,
Maybe it's
how do
both.
we think about that?
I bet it's
Right?
both,
It's got
right?
to be.
Like, if you drink a lot of a good one, like, I don't think you can just drink, like, a gallon and then be like you'll probably die, right? If you drink, like,
Yeah.
a gallon of it. Um,
So gross.
but,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, like, maybe, like, the recipe in, like, advanced potion making is better than the recipe from Most Potent Potions or
Hmm.
book, right? Like, um I don't know. I mean, what would
I
the
mean,
like, if Snape made one, it would be as good as possible.
which
Or
he
maybe, like, the effort required to make a 12-hour one, you can't make it in, like, a big batch. You know what I mean? So, like,
hmm, lower
it's
quality.
just like yeah. So, like, it's just like when you mass produce something, you know, it's like anyone can make a restaurant can make an incredible burger, but, like, In and Out does that at 150 locations across the country over and over every day, all day. So, yeah, there's better burgers, but they're replicating it across
I
the
like
whole country, you
I
know?
like that analogy. Mm. In and out.
So,
Now in Tennessee, coming to Charlotte soon.
it's creeping towards it.
Um,
Uh, but, yeah, I don't know. So, I would guess
2040.
it's like that. Like, if you're making, like, a huge batch, like like Moody had, like, that's not 12-hour Polyjuice Potion. You can't do that. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. How many times a day do you think Moody was taking Polyjuice? I was picturing he took it on the hour, every day
That's what
for
Dumbledore says at the end.
290 days.
That's what Dumbledore says at
Hmm.
the end. He was taking it on the hour every it must remember taking it on the hour every hour. So,
See, I feel like we don't get any of this from the book, that it's always an hour. I feel like it always is. And I don't
yeah.
know how long like the Seven Potters was. I don't know how long they were in the ministry. Felt like an hour for both of
I felt
them.
like whenever they did the 7 Potters, they knew they didn't need more than an hour, right? Um,
Right.
like they were good with their like they got an hour because like they're all flying somewhere or whatever, and yeah, so you know, but
um,
probably it plays such a huge role in the books. They use it a bunch.
It does. One of the best comments we had. So we recently, our biggest viral video clip is name 22 Polyjuice Potion transformations.
Is
I
that
think
you
it's
and
22.
Hunter or
I mean, it
just
was you and Hunter. No, it was you and Hunter
oh, it was
going
me
back
and
and
him?
forth.
Oh.
Yeah, nice memory. And but somebody at some point, one of the
Oh,
comments was like, at this point, I think Polyjuice is habit forming, and Hermione got addicted and just couldn't stop. Couldn't stop. I was like, yeah, she does take it a lot. Um, more than anybody.
Imagine how
Anyways,
like close she was to like permanent disfigurement when she took the
true
cat
on her
one.
first one.
Because like, well, I guess
Yes.
we'll get to it, but it's one of the other categories, the illness thing. That's what I'm thinking of.
True. True. Magical illness. Our next one is Animagi. And I'm going to kick this off with a trivia question. This is only a level 2, so it'll be easy for
Ooh.
you. But this is probably one of the harder level 2s. So for some of the listeners, they might enjoy. William, can you name 5 Animagus and what animal they turn into?
What animal? McGonagall's a cat.
Correct.
Rita Skeeter's a beetle. Peter Pettigrew's a rat.
Correct.
Sirius
Correct.
is a dog. What am I up to?
That's 4. One more.
Why am I blanking?
You're missing the last Marauder.
Oh, James Potter is prongs.
James is a stag, of course. So I couldn't find this as like a normal Pottermore entry. Like I found this on March 10th, 2020 is when this was published. And it was a little bit different, but it does give you the steps of how you become an Animagi, which is by far the most fascinating thing that I feel like we read today.
You dismissed it
I would
last
like,
week
I do
when we
have,
discussed it briefly. You're like, yeah, just take some stuff in your mouth for a month.
I still think I could do it, but I do
I
have
think
a
you could do
question
it
for
too.
you. Like, if you had to find a place that human foot nor sunlight have touched for 7 days, where would you choose? Like, is there a spot in your backyard that never gets sun in the winter? Or like, would you have to go to a remote forest and hope no one goes there? Like, do you have a spot that that footlight or human foot never touch?
I mean, like, not in my yard. Like, I mean, because I assume like shade doesn't count as like light doesn't touch it. Needs to be darker than
I
that.
don't know. We need an expert to tell us. We need a Dumbledore to guide us. I don't know.
It's wild. I really enjoyed reading it because it was like a Mad Lib of like stupid things you have to do. Right?
Yes, it is.
Like it's just like a Mad Lib of like insane things. Cause like when you read the books originally, you're like, why isn't everyone doing this? And then like, cause like they tell you, hey, it's really dangerous and like all that. But like that doesn't give it context. It's like, so what if it's dangerous? Like, why is the coolest thing in the world who
Yeah.
doesn't want to turn into an animal? And then you read this, and like I said, it's just like a Mad Lib of like insane things. And the fact that the three marauders, 3 of the 4 marauders, 3 of them being smart, 1 of them being a moron, and the 3 smart ones somehow helped the moron safely become a rat, is pretty amazing. But no, I don't have a place to go for like the sunlight and the shit. What do you? I mean,
well, to your point, I guess
could you
shade
build
doesn't count, but like
have you ever watched the
in the
Outdoor Boys
winter,
on YouTube? Like they build like a snow dugout, like a snow shelter, like hide
well,
underneath the snow in Alaska.
that's what's brought it up. There's a spot in my backyard that doesn't get any sun in the winter, and the ice is never going to freeze, and the snow is just like that's where we build our snowmen, and they will last. They'll last until there's no snow left, like in the entire city, because it's just so cold and never gets any sun. But
Yeah,
I mean, it does get to your point, like it's just the shade
right.
of the
It's just the shade.
garage,
But
so
maybe
I
like
don't know.
shade's enough, right? So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I got a ton of trees in my backyard, so like, sure, there's shaded spots or under the deck.
I assume.
Can I hang out under the deck?
Yeah, there you go. Yes, that's what I assumed. I assumed they like went into the forbidden forest and like put it next to a tree and I don't know, buried it in there. I don't know.
You could like bury it, yeah, like in the like in inside a tree or something.
Throughout throughout this series and next week's series, where we're just doing all these essays, I have several nominations of TV show adaptations, and I kind of got into the headspace of like Marvel's What If, where they found a way to make a lot of awesome stories with not a lot of effort and didn't have to pay people millions of dollars to act in all these things. And I feel like that's what Harry Potter needs. They really need it doesn't have to be a what if. It's just like if should that have been our
There's the
Witch
Star
Weekly,
Wars ones too, like this. Like there's the Star Wars
Yes.
shorts. Like there's one like
Yes.
the cool stuff, like where Ahsoka beats the Inquisitor.
Spoiler.
Whatever.
It's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
I'm on the last season of Clone Wars.
Well,
Okay,
this
please no
is
spoilers.
after Order 66 and before Rebels.
Yeah.
In between time.
I've been meaning to text you if I need to, like, it seems like I should stop in the middle of like the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars and watch episode 3, but that's not what my watch guide told me. Anyways,
no, don't do that. But also the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is like apex Star Wars, like truly incredible. The fight scene, Ahsoka, like throwing her lightsabers in the ground, spinning around, cutting a hole in the ground, falling through. Oh my gosh, dude. It's the coolest freaking thing ever. Can't wait for you to watch
excited.
it.
Anyways, I don't need like, okay, I obviously want like the Marauders and just give me the entire time of James Potter being at
Right.
Hogwarts, but just give me this short story. Just start it with like, they figured out they're going to start their journey on becoming Animagi, and then just show me like the double heartbeat and starting to feel, and then show me the lightning, show me some huge lightning storm coming down, and then I'll run outside to grab their potion and drink it, and then like battle with their they don't battle with their animals, but that's where a lot of the risk is like if you're not ready, like the animal, you'll become the animal and the animal will take over and you'll never be yourself again. And I don't know,
do you think like it's easier if like it was easier for Pettigrew because he's wrestling with a rat, mentally wrestling with a rat, or like a beautiful magnificent dog or a stag, and then he's a rat.
That's a good point. I don't know. I feel like rats have a lot of instincts. I'm thinking back to Animorphs and
never read it.
Trying to think if some of these small creatures were just as hard to control as the tigers and the lions. I think.
I feel like maybe some animals, but not a rat.
That's hilarious.
Like I feel like a cat is a small animal. A cat would be hard because a cat mentally dominates. Cats basically domesticated themselves and mentally dominated humans into taking care of them.
That's a good point.
Like we kept them around. Oh, they kill the rats and the mice and protect the grain, but also cats just ingratiated themselves into our lives, and now we take care of them. So, unless you're allergic, like
next up, no, I have the gene that allowed me to not be dominated by cats. So I am superior to you, who is never.
Or did the cat ultimately defeat you because you are weak and a cat would weaken you?
Nope.
Just like
I'm
peanut
not
butter.
Taking care of any cats. Just like okay, that's a weakness, and I'm embarrassed of it.
We'll get to that next week. You're not the EpiPen kind of allergic.
No. Grit my teeth and bear it. Next up is extension charms, and I had a lot of fun with this one. I had no idea. I cannot believe that this is a regulated spell. It is illegal to make an extension charm.
Yeah.
What Hermione did is illegal. What Arthur Weasley did on the back of his trunk, illegal. I cannot believe that is regulated. Why on earth is it regulated? Like, the whole example is like, we can't just have 12 people living in a toilet cubicle. If you were good enough at magic, like, you could just expand that into go on forever. Like, it's regulated for trunks and for tents, and that's about it. And I'm just like, why? Why on earth is this regulated? Why can't we all just be creating our own spaces infinitely forever? Like, why? Why is this regulated? I would revolt.
You wouldn't. You would just do it.
Yes, I would. It's uncatchable, basically, unless I'm an idiot.
Exactly. So that's why I think, like, there's a ton of stuff in our lives that is regulated or whatever else or another that nobody abides by. Or not nobody, but, like, whatever. I might be guilty of some things. I don't know.
Like the servers behind you.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But, I mean, I know what you mean, though, because, like, but, like, I like how they described it, where she was, like, basically, like, people will, like, with magic, it's not just, like, you know, taking a small thing, it's like there's really no limit to what you can do, hence the regulation, right?
Yes,
So, like, if
that's great.
someone really wanted to, like, they could live in, like, some pocket dimension in the middle of London where, like, Hogwarts lives or something, but then it would, like, attract a bunch of attention and
What's
cause problems or something like that, or another I don't know.
okay? Well, then yeah, they obviously can't allow that. I just don't know why the Weasleys couldn't extension charm the crap out of the burrow and like make Ron's room 10 times bigger. Like, why not? What is the harm in
Right.
that?
And how do
I don't
they
know if this is like real.
Yeah, I feel like well, first of all, their
So,
house is definitely magically expanded.
yeah, exactly. It's
Um,
already magicked. Is this like real estate law? Are they just trying to like people to, pay their worth for that property, that plot of land? Muggles own all the land anyways. Like, I feel
right.
like there's no
Well, the other
wizard
thing
deals
about,
of
like, the
land.
Weasleys' house is that, like, clearly they're never gonna leave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they just
like,
kept
some
building
people
upon a pigsty.
yeah, like, some people live in the middle of London, like Grimmauld Place, right? Malfoys live in some giant manor on in the estate, right? I mean, some people live in little
Right.
little villages like Godric's Hollow, and then some people live in the middle of nowhere in an expanded pigsty.
Well, they could all be living in mansions if they just use their extension charms.
Yeah, they could.
I don't get
The
it.
extension garm it is incredibly cool. And we talked about it in the objects
Yes.
draft too. Uh, you know, the idea of what you can do
Yes.
with it is pretty limitless. You know,
Or like Newt Scamander's suitcase. Like, it's incredible.
yeah, his suitcase has entire biomes in it, like so.
Yeah, it's amazing. Why
Yeah,
would that be illegal? It's amazing. I guess if you accidentally release a bunch of animals all over the United States, I guess that's bad, but whatever.
yeah.
Um, I have a question.
What's the
Does
question?
Hagrid's hut have an extension charm? I feel like I've been reading this with my kids and like it seems so tiny from the outside. And when you get inside, it's like it's one room, but it's enough to fit one gigantic bed, Hagrid sized bed, one gigantic Hagrid sized table, one gigantic Hagrid sized chair, and a kitchen that somehow fits Hagrid. Like it's definitely an extension charm, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a big hut. Like it's just like one big. It's only one big room. So like the bed, and they talk about like the bed's in a corner, the kitchen's right next to it. Like I don't know. I don't
Yep.
feel
But
like
that's like
it's.
a
But if it is an
it's
extended
like a
charm, it's like a 10-foot one. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
no, but that's the thing. It can't
cool.
be a 10-foot one. His bed has to be 12 feet by 12 feet,
No, I'm
like
just
for him
saying
to
like
fit
it
on
was
it at all.
built. His hut was built big. Like it's just a.
That's not a hut.
It's still a
It's
hut.
got to be
It's just
freaking
a big
huge.
hut.
It's got to be 1,000 square feet easily.
Why not?
Like it's huge.
But that doesn't mean it's an
I'm
extension
just
charm.
I'm just saying it seems so tiny from the outside, but I don't know. I hadn't thought about this
It would
until
feel
literally
small
today.
too when you
So
go in there and it's taken up. So like imagine like a normally proportioned hut with a normal sized bed, right? And let's assume Hagrid doesn't have a king. Like if you proportion the size of like Hagrid's got like a twin bed, but Hagrid sized twin bed, right? He doesn't have a Hagrid sized king bed until Madame
I
Maxime maybe moves in with him or something like that.
good call.
You know what I mean, though? Does that make
Good
sense?
call.
Like, he has for him, it's like a twin size bed, not a king size.
I guess
He's got a
so.
twin size the size of Hagrid.
I still just think it's going to be massive. I don't know.
It would be huge, assuming he's 11 feet tall. You would have to
Exactly.
have it in a giant bed.
Yes, he would. And a giant table and a giant chair and a giant kitchen. I mean, when you look at like the pictures on Pottermore, like, and they show Madame Maxime and Hagrid, like, they look way bigger than 10 feet, which I just think is bad drawing, but they look like they're like 25 feet tall. They look so much bigger
Yeah.
than everyone around them. Um, anyways, I need to get this back to how it was. This is for Cassie to edit, but I had it as a small window, but then I clicked on Riverside, and now I can't get you back as the small window. And I like seeing your face. All right, Cassie, cut that out, please. I just won't see your face, and I'll hate my life, but it'll be fine. Okay. The next three, the next couple are related, where we have Floo powder, the Floo network, and then more transportation with the night bus. I threw in technology and port keys. So we've got several in a row. The Floo network, this is one of the few that I remember reading 10 years ago when this came out, where the story of like basically the woman, like a husband and wife are having a fight, and then the wife goes into the fireplace and like is crying too hard so she can't say the right place and tries to go to her mother-in-law's house and ends up at just some random dude's house, and they immediately fall in love and she never goes back. And that's funny.
It is funny.
I enjoyed that. That stuck with me for 10 years.
They had 7 kids.
Yeah, exactly. The the other things that I thought of here. One is that, like, again, you don't read Sanderson, but in Mistborn, like Floo powder is just like Atium in the Mistborn series, where the government controls it. No one knows how it's made, and there's only one place to get it. Except it's actually the exact opposite, where it has been 2 sickles a scoop for 100 years, and it has been completely locked in. Where the opposite is where Atium costs like $1 billion in Mistborn. But
Is
I
it
thought
like
this was
spice?
fascinating. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, like spice. Yeah, exactly. In Dune. Yeah, it's exactly, except again, the opposite, where it's $2 a scoop for forever. And is the best equivalent we have in our world like the Costco hot dog being $1.50? You know, that's stayed as consistent as can be for quite some time.
Yeah, I
Um,
like the idea that it being like 2 sickles a scoop, and it's been that way. Um, because it's like they have a monopoly. So, like, yes, they could charge whatever they want, but they don't, and they're still making plenty of money because everybody
well,
uses
it's
it.
well, yeah, and I mean, it's regulated. I don't think I think the
I
ministry
mean,
would shut them
maybe.
down if they.
But then again,
I
like,
don't know.
I mean, I assume, like, they got a pretty slim operation, they don't need I don't know what their manufacturing's like, but they don't they probably don't need to employ, like, 100 house elves to, do it for them. Or maybe they do, and
Yeah, they
maybe
said.
that's why they can charge 2 sickles a scoop. I don't know.
Yeah, well, all you got to do is feed your house up. You don't have to pay it. So
Yeah. You can just
easy,
multiply the food,
easy money.
make it gruel.
I thought that was fascinating. No one's ever been able to recreate Floo powder. No one knows how it's made, and the people who make it never answer the
Yeah,
door. So
they have an office in Diagon Alley that never opens and nobody answers the door. Which
I
makes
feel
me
like
think
there's something more here.
it's like fake. It's like the Shrieking Shack. There's nothing actually there. It's just like the story put out, you know?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like something's going on here, and like Floo powder was like created by aliens, and like I don't know, like something weird's here. I don't
There's
know.
like an episode of Futurama and other shows too, where like I don't know if you ever watched Futurama, and there's a Rick and Morty kind of like it, but basically there's like the whole world in future is drinking a soda called Slurm, and they find out it's like the excrement of like an alien. I'm pretty sure that was
Sounds
what happened.
delicious.
And then everyone's like, who
all right.
cares?
It
So like
tastes
maybe,
good.
but they don't eat Floo powder. So if it is like the poop of a rumpant, like dried out and powdered, like they don't care.
That's disgusting. I have one more thing on the Floo Network, but we'll take a small pause for the much needed book only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia game. This is a level 3 question. This is also a pretty hard one for a level 3. Can you name 5 occasions, reasons, or destinations where Harry uses Floo powder? 5 times.
Uses Floo powder. Well, the first time when he goes to Nocturne Alley.
Idiot boy. Yes.
I thought you were telling me that. I was like, well, no, that's a real thing that happened in Harry
Oh,
Potter's
sorry.
world.
Harry is an idiot boy.
Yeah. And then they also use it to go back and forth. In the 5th book, they use it to leave. No, they use a port key. They do have a one-off Floo connection in the 6th book to get back from Christmas.
Correct, from the Burrow to Hogwarts after
Uh,
Christmas break.
Yeah. And I just listened to it today. Uh, it was the Dursleys' house to the Burrow when Arthur Weasley has a useful
Correct.
contact in the Floo network regulation panel to help him out.
For the Quidditch World Cup. Correct.
Yeah.
2 more.
They chalked a Sirius with it. Like he
Yes,
does in Umbridge's
from
office.
Umbridge's
Not the
office.
part where Sirius talks to them, but when they go to them.
Correct.
And then he tries it again with Sirius
You nailed it.
and
You have
fails.
qualified, sir.
Gets caught.
You're a level 3. You're a level 3.
That's a
Congratulations,
level 3,
William.
by the way, y'all. Like that's pretty hard for a lot of people.
That should be a level 4. I'll round 2, version 2. I'll make some updates. My biggest takeaway on the Floo network and Floo powder is that Wizards' homes are just way too available and they're too trusting. And I feel like it says that you can disconnect your fireplace with like a simple spell. I feel like I would always keep it disconnected.
Right. They need like a firewall, basically. Like, I've been really into networking.
You can apparate into someone's home.
Like, the Floo network is not unlike the internet in some ways, except it's cooler because it can physically transport people. But yeah, you're right. Like, there's a whole market where like there's just so much implicit trust in like everything's just connected and you can go anywhere. They are not about zero trust networking. That's for sure.
That's too much.
Because that was like basically how like the internet originally worked when like it was just a few computers like connected directly to each other, right? That was like the idea. And that's essentially what the Floo network is that like, hey, we're all connected. So I guess there's really nothing stopping you from just walking in to be like, I'm going to go to the Diggory's house. And then just
yeah, exactly. That is insane.
There should be like a whole like Wizard Simply Safe or some kind of firewall router, system going on to protect people.
All right, William, let's finish with the night bus, and then I think we'll call it a wrap for this podcast. My notes on the night bus are wizards are stupid and they should copy way more Muggle stuff. That was my big takeaway.
Yeah, and then you remember how like they read it like the wizard pride, like it's like the pride of wizards that
Yes.
like stops them basically.
People,
like they're happy with what
Yes.
they got. Like they're I guess in some ways it's kind of like the Amish, right? Like
yes.
hey, if they're happy, they're
They
happy.
don't know any better.
Yeah. I mean, the Amish clearly know all this stuff exists, right? But hey, if they're happy, they're happy. They're doing their thing and they don't really want to change. So they're not gonna. But I did like how they talked about, it was like in the transportation thing about like, I don't know if I can't remember if it was the night bus
Right.
one specifically or if it was a transportation, but like wizards looked at cars and like, that is sick.
Yes, I am jealous of my horse and buggy.
They're like, that is sick. So like, even like, and then like, Sirius's family's a bunch of racists. So like they see a motorcycle and they're like, that's lame. But like all the other wizards are like, that's sick. Like a motorcycle looks
Exactly.
cool, like it's amazing that every wizard doesn't have like a car like Arthur does that can fly and like shoot missiles and like,
Yes.
because like in the hands of a skilled person, a car could be very cool. Like Arthur was just tinkering around in his garage, like, and he's not particular, but like if you built like a company that was like Pimp My Ride, but for wizards, and it actually made good cars instead of just making them useless for poor people, like that show did, it'd be pretty cool.
Okay, well, we've bled this into technology, which is the next one, and no, this is perfect because I always pictured Arthur like actually in the garage, like with a wrench, like taking apart the car. And it wasn't until today that I realized he definitely just did all that by magic. Like he definitely just magicked it apart and then magicked it back together with a couple modifications, right?
Right,
Like,
yeah, because
there's
if
no
he
way.
like got it out and like it's hard. Like I don't know if you ever taken apart. I've never taken apart a car, but like I've taken apart a bunch of electronics, right? and like
Right.
I've taken apart like an old Game Boy and like soldered stuff on and had to put it back together. And like there's a lot of little screws and like you're gonna like forget where things go. And like Arthur definitely was just like waving a wand and like doing it automatically.
Yes.
Um,
I don't know how I never pictured that. I just pictured him like a wife beater, just like cranking it out. But no, he was definitely just using
phrasing.
magic.
Um,
Yeah, you're welcome.
but yeah, he
um,
was using magic. But like, I mean, it makes sense like what he would do. Like every wizard, like think about like Arthur had like that's all we know, but like think about what kind of insane things a rich person like the Malfoys would have, you know? Like, they dabble in muggle investments. Like I'm sure they have like some kind of ridiculous car that like can get them
well,
to King's Cross,
yeah,
And like in a sick
she
way. And
talks
like
about
they're
that
so
too.
rich that like if it's illegal, like nobody cares.
Yes, she says that where she's like, yeah, on the outside, people will be like, I will never touch anything muggle. And then you go to their house and they've got a Rolls Royce in the garage.
Yeah.
And yeah, like they respect how sick these are.
Because how could you not? It's like a
But
universal thing of like, dude, chicks dig cars, you know?
exactly. This is exactly. Dudes do too sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
so this technology one, this was like her pitch, like her opening of like, this is why wizards don't need the internet because they have so much cool stuff. And she's like not completely wrong, but
But then
like
she
I
even
still didn't buy
acknowledged
it.
like
I was
people
just,
would surf the web. Yeah.
of course they would. And then her last point is that they tried, like some wizards tried to make like a wizard broadcasting station, but it was shut down. And she brings up a good point of like why they allow radios and not televisions, and it's because a muggle will often will they're going to stumble onto these things accidentally, and a muggle will pretty easily like ignore something they heard or like pretend they heard it wrong. But if you like see a Quidditch match on TV, then like you're not going to believe you're hallucinating. You're going to be
Right.
like,
But all that means is you need
that,
better wizard engineers to figure out how to broadcast on a magical frequency that can't be picked up by mundane
I don't
muggles and their
I don't know
television
how many engineers are
aerials.
out there. I just feel like their brains aren't working like that. And if they are, they're probably shunned to like the Department of Mysteries and useless
Yeah,
to everyone after that. I
it's
don't know.
true. I did think of
I
it
don't
though
know.
like this because like conceptually, like a wizard who lives across the country from their friend or whatever, it's meaningless to a wizard. So like, yeah, FaceTime is not that, you know,
Right.
like there's magic mirrors and there's other things and flute powder and like I did thought about this though. I thought about like the you stick your head in the fire. I was like, they need like basically like some kind of magical fireplace that's like a fishbowl that you can just put on your head. That you don't have
Yes.
to like get on your knees and like put your head into something and like look, you know, like you'd have to have like some kind of chair or an easy way to be comfortable while doing that if you're
A
doing that.
fire
But
FaceTime.
yeah,
That's a good point.
but you'd have to like have like, well, this is my portable, like just like a box you put on your head and that's a fireplace or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. This will truly be our last one. We're going to stop on port keys where I had the same thought where it's like basically we use port keys when like there's no fireplace there or whatever. And I was like,
Or you can't
you're
apparate or,
magicians. Yeah, or you can't operate, but like just can you just build a fireplace literally anywhere and like,
but then it wouldn't be connected to the Floo network, I guess, if you just like build it out of nowhere. You have to have the Floo regulation panel and all that stuff. Like someone has
well,
to connect
if
it.
you know if you know that the Quidditch World Cup is coming for the last 2 years, couldn't you just put a fireplace there?
Yeah, you could have.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, but
Maybe
then
maybe the Floo
in
network
this
doesn't have enough bandwidth, like, like enough the infrastructure is poor. Or
true.
maybe they're just
Yeah.
morons.
Can it get clogged and like you get stuck? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be
Like,
pretty
is it
horrible.
like is the Floo network like do they have to bury cable under the sea like fiber? Like what are we doing here? What is the Floo network?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Great questions. They did have an anecdote here where a couple muggles pick up a shoe that takes them to a Celestina Warbeck
Yeah.
concert. Uh, surely that happens all the time. Like
I
they're
know.
just leaving Portkey trash all over the place. Like
Yeah, well, one, like, Mr. Weasley described it so muggles don't go up and play with it, and that's true, like, it could be, like, a whatever object, right? But then, like what you said, like, you leave them all over the place. Well, I mean, like, how common is having a portkey, right? Like, you know
I don't know if Celestina's touring the world, then I don't know. They've got them all over the place. I assume. I don't know
I don't know.
how often. I don't know if she's going Taylor Swift, which it seems like. We'll talk about her in a couple weeks. Seems like she's the Taylor Swift of the Wizarding world. That maybe
And
she's selling out Quidditch stadiums every other night.
I don't think there's enough wizards to do that. It would need to be much smaller.
You're probably right. Worldwide, though, we learned about all those other schools. They're everywhere.
Uh-huh.
You're
They
right.
don't speak English.
It's true.
But you know what?
William?
That most people don't, and they still like English music. People listen to Bad Bunny, they
True.
don't speak Spanish.
Do we all get to hear him on Sunday? Super Bowl?
I'm excited. I don't ever care about the halftime show, but this one's gonna be better than other ones.
You can translate for those around you. It'll be exciting.
Yeah. What are the rules? Are you allowed to say, like, curse words if they're in Spanish? Like,
I don't know. Last
I
year,
don't know.
Drake called someone a P word on TV, so, I think you can do whatever you want.
Kendrick Lamar?
I mean, Kendrick, yeah. Kendrick, yeah. I mean, anyways, I don't know.
Right.
I bet you can say whatever you want. All right, William, we're at an hour and 7 minutes.
Let's
I
end
had
it.
a blast going through these. Let's see. We got through 15 and we have 13 more to go. And next week we'll cover some fascinating things. My favorite ones on here are short stories from harrypotter.com, are Azkaban, Illness and Disability, The Secret Keeper, and also Purebloods. I'm excited to talk about
And
that.
we're gonna
So
do our best to
we're going
keep
to talk
that
about
one
several.
shorter than this one.
Yes. So we're going to keep doing more essays, and I don't have a Fred versus George for you this week, but we'll do better in 2 weeks, I promise. And I love you, and we'll see you next week.
Peace, y'all.